they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This man. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary. Mayegun ti dé o.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary.
Thank you so much for joining me again. Remember, share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them Mayegun is live. Mayegun today.
Diary politico. Mayegun diary. Godfatherism. Kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary.
It is true.
Ṣé o kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lẹ́nu?
What you see
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀.
is what you get.
Mayegun diary.
Yes. Then is happening. Million is happening. Nigeria is criminally insane country controlled by the men and women of the underworld. There is no government.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjú. Lórí YouTube. Àní ẹ̀sùn làjú.
You've shared the broadcast.
Bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùn làjú.
This young man, Ìlérí Olúwa, Abi Mohbad, that young man's death is currently unearthing what you can call the Pandora box. Back then, we saw how Oshteloki Yari was used by Osh Poppy, using the criminals within the system. Here we go, the police, NDLEA, and so many other people in APC, Egbekegbe, they have connection with the murderer, the killer, the squad that is more dangerous than what you can imagine. So good morning to you once again, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live, and this place is called the Temple of Truth. I am the GO. When you join, when you become a convert, an initiate of this temple, right? You will become a brethren as well. So you are welcome. Most of what, especially for those of you who just joined us, most of what we do here is not just to talk about Nigeria problems, okay? Or providing solutions to them. We do our best to let you know that for every wrong policy move of those in authority in Nigeria, as bad as they may sound to you, whether highly bad or just bad, there are victims. And when I say victims, there are actually victims as well that are like victims of when they give them direct attack, which is what we simply put as when Nigeria happened to them. And there are some that you'll be like, they are as bad. But the point here is this. When you join Mayegun's Diary Political, you will be able to know which victim are you. Whether you are supporting them knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, it doesn't matter. On Mayegun's Diary Political, we connect the problems. Listen to this. So we connect the problems with the victims, and then we name and shame the perpetrators. And that is why we call this place the Temple of Truth. There is nobody that the searchlight, the searchlight of this platform cannot beam on, especially if your action by association, by support, or by direct involvement have their own direct impact on the general well-being of the rest of us, whether we are victim of what you are doing yet or we are not. The bottom line is that there are victims of all of these wrongdoings. And once a lot of us begin to connect with that reality that when you say government is corrupt, it is so normal. Well, they are all corrupt. But what does a corrupt government truly mean to you? Is that something that if you understand how horrible it actually affects you directly and indirectly, maybe you begin to frown upon it rather than supporting it. Okay? Same thing with when they kind of push all the different narrative for different agenda, there are victims. And that is why on Mayegun's Diary Political, I don't really have friends with conditions. When you join, you must be ready to take it as you see it. And that's exactly why on Mayegun's Diary Political, you will see these days, you will see people that will come around and connect themselves. And in fact, come out and tell their own stories. Their stories of how many times Nigeria has happened to them to justify their own new belief that except until Nigeria happened to you, you will continue to believe Nigeria is redeemable. And like I said, it depends on how much of it you are a victim of, or you've become a victim of. Is it bad or bad? In the case of Nigeria, every Nigerian is a victim of a failed country, failed leadership, failed system. And when I talk about failed system, I am talking about in a situation whereby there is actually no system anymore. A situation whereby there is no institution anymore. But you will not really kind of agree 100% until you become a victim of any of them. When I say victim, right, I'm talking about when you have a system. If they say everybody go right and hold your hand, and that's what the law says. A society formed around that, right, means if anybody decides to go left without a justifiable reason for it, they are violating that law. So everybody agrees that they must be punished. But when you have a situation whereby people can willingly just go left, and they are the ones punishing those going right, okay, for not listening to them on their own dictates, Eh? That is a system that spares what? That spares no one. So in the case of Nigeria, it depends on which of these old maladies you have become a victim of. Last night, people were sharing their own reasons why they left Nigeria. I wish we had a very longer time to kind of take more and more people on to express why. What was that, that deciding point that everything you once believed about Nigeria started fading away. You started believing that you just need to get out of here. Now, after getting out of Nigeria, you are now watching it from far and you are seeing it even getting more deteriorating until, and you are telling yourself, when is it going to be back on track or be good enough for me to go back to that place? And when people started sharing that, right, it was emotional. It was, quite, soul searching, you would say. There were those who told me that they actually cried listening to people's stories, people's experiences, and all of that, what they survived, and then all that in Nigeria. There are those who have seen worse than most of what majority of us probably saw, and we decided to what? To just leave. And it breaks out more, right? When you realize that even when you say Nigeria cannot be helped, it is because it is based on what you are seeing, things that are not just right. Do you understand? And over and over and over again, like we all agreed, normalizing abnormalities. Yeah. So people started kind of feeling like they could cut their way around it and still not be victim, but that is no longer the case. You can't rely on the police. Eh? If the people of interest are friends of the police, in this case, in this criminal political system they have in Nigeria today, the policing system is completely under the control of those who are supposed to be in jail. Policemen are protecting those that they are actually supposed to be investigating and jailing. And it's becoming more and more that usually you say politically, but this has spread more to other dangerous group of men and even women. Yeah? Whereby all you have to do is just to buy that favor. And if you have that money, you can get away with any crime in Nigeria. Isn't that kind of strange? And I'm talking about you don't really even have to have the whole house of or warehouse of money. The system is there to be bought. And if you can pay, which criminals are always ready to anyway, then you get away with any crime. It is so bad that Nigerian police is so famous for replacing criminals with innocent people. Like it's so famous that people will be like, policemen will tell you, if you don't pay me, if you don't give me that bribe, I can shoot and kill you right now and claim that you are a criminal trying to attack the police. Who is going to say you are not when we've already put a gun on you? That is Nigeria's system. Things that will tell you that in no way your life actually means anything, even when you are rich. That's how worse it has become. But you see something, when victims of the Nigeria system, or let me say when Nigeria happens like this, I call it a time for sober reflection. You get that? Like that clip I played, twice now on this platform, talking about nationhood or statehood and all of that. When you are going on one direction and you see the stream of blood trailing your struggling footpath, the ideal thing is if you are sensible, you turn back. Okay? That means that is not the way. Nigeria has been following one single fraudulent federal system that doesn't exist. Federal system on paper. Unitary system in practice. It has created more bad blood, more division, more underdevelopment, more poverty, and toppled it with, terrorism. So, there is no better time to have that, to reflect and say, why are all these things happening? How come all of this devoid of any solution? Who are those benefiting from this ruined and destroyed Nigeria? Who are those beneficiaries? Do you know them? Would they even want to let it go? Are they worth the people that, do they even have the credibility of people who should be giving you, giving you order and you are obeying them? Sober reflection, where you have to reflect and be like, there is no direction, or let me say, Nigeria is on the way to perdition. However, until you become a victim, right, you probably would never, right, believe that Nigeria is irredeemable. Mohbad, like on Tuesday, the social media became agog with the death of this young man. How could he just die? What happened? So many questions. But within hours, there were so many revelations coming out. You have seen many of them. I am more interested in the role the Nigeria system played in killing him. Are you listening? You have read a lot, those that are rumors, those that are speculations, and so many other things you've heard out there. Out of them, I have picked the ones that I found to be the main killer of Mohbad. When the system sort of empowers those who commit crime, I don't 100% blame the criminals. I blame it on the system. And in that regard, those who are the members of the criminal enterprise should take responsibility, right? I'll tell you this. In Nigeria, okay, at least from where I come from, right, you would have access to land like normally. But in that same space, majority of people have what is called unwritten law. It's not written. It's different from the laws of the government. But you see the law of these criminals who are land grabbers. They are so powerful. When I say powerful, I'm talking about more powerful than the government. But then I'll tell you how they all kind of work together to normalize that. Like it's okay, it's normal. If you buy land, and this criminal, okay, who have a connection to the politicians, usually that's what they consider as connection with the government. So government, or should I say the politicians, they will put together notorious criminals, young people. I mean, produced or created by the system, a failed system. All right. So cashing in on that, they will be recruited as Mozu. They call them Mozu, political Mozu. So they will harm them, give them guns and all of that. Let them have access to unlimited, hard, prohibited drugs. But they are called government kids, government children. Usually we call them government picking. So, which is like putting together a small militia group, but they are political. So wherever they are going, people know them as violent and all of that. They have popular names. They have so much, you know what I mean? Like it's official. So the police can't go on and investigate and arrest all of them for possessing illegal arms. They can't, because they have that kind of, it's like court group, political parties in Nigeria. So, or political stuff right there, right? It's like court group. So once you join them and they say, oh, he's APC, he's working for Asiwaju Tifnumbu, the president of Nigeria, right? That means he's immune from police investigation or arrest except order from above. Do you understand? Order from above is the boss of all of them in government. So you see these armed young criminals, political muscles, they are very active during political period. But when there is no politics to survive, they go into different kind of criminality, like extortion, like forceful takeover of people's properties, including land grabbing. Remember, apart from the police that are legally allowed to carry gun, okay? Now this is unwritten one. Oh, these criminals are also allowed to procure illegal arms, which should have been illegal, but kind of the way that they get them legally. Guns, weapons, all this stuff. So when there is no elections, there's no political this or that, they venture into different criminal activities, including land grabbing. Now, remember, they are the creation of politicians, and they are only active during elections, okay? So the remaining 3 years, they are there in the public, making the lives of the general populace the hell. Now, if they now grab your land, now that these same guys, they can just decide to say, you know what? There are some undeveloped lands in this part of this area. You know what? We are taking over the land. So what happened to the owners of the land who already paid for them? Well, whoever they paid for, they should go and collect their money. We are going to resell the land. Now, this is not a joke. That's what they do, right? Now, why you are still there wondering, who are these guys? Who be these guys? What happened? Where are they from? You will see them with policemen, armed policemen, okay? And they will start bulldozing people's properties out of the place. Before you know it, they will say there is already a court judgment that said the land belonged to them. In that state of confusion, some of you will begin to rebuy your properties from them. Now, at that time, normally you would think, where is government? Okay, where is government? When you have about 200 policemen armed, and then you have about 400 criminals also armed with guns, with different weapons and all that, and policemen are there too, and they are telling everybody to move. The land, they said the land belonged to this criminal. And then before you know it, this particular criminal is already there, in front of different musicians that will begin to sing his praises, begin to sing how mighty, how he fought, how he came from nothing. But today he is a friend of a governor. He is a friend of minister. He is a friend to the president. Today he is the one that is selling land for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, he's now into real estate. Unfortunately, Baba, when they sing all this song, because of the lyrics, you know me, I like singing. I will be singing their praises too. I'm talking about real criminals. Before you know it, people started seeing them as, maybe they are actually good people. Oh, maybe they are. Did you hear that he sent his mother to Mecca? Did you hear that they said that he's the one renovating all the mosques on the streets? Everybody love him. They said if he entered the street, like he's giving them money, like he's so generous. And the musicians are singing his praises. Maybe it's not as bad as, and meanwhile, this country itself, somebody needs to be very strong. To survive in this country, it's not easy. So all that abnormality started becoming normal, and they've become normal, by the way. So talking about the government, the system that enabled it. So it's like they are just working hand in hand. So same thing happens when election happens, right? People expect these guys to come out. Nigerians, they expect these armed thugs. They know them. They have their names. They see them every now and then. For every crime you have seen them committed, extortion, robbery, everything, right? Nobody has ever kind of held them responsible. So that has kind of forced the society to learn how to tolerate them and live with them. There are people that will tell you their own story why they left Nigeria was because their property, which they built with their sweat, some thug came and they demolished it and they sold the land, and court couldn't do anything. Government couldn't do anything. It's a free for all. I couldn't raise my kids here. I have to leave. So when the death of Mohbad happened, people were asking, why did they have to go and bury him so fast? And a lot of questions, okay? Then other evidences started popping out. Baba, even if I was thinking of being tempted to go to Nigeria for any reason, Baba, I will beg that my instincts, and I will beg God to please stop me from. I'll tell you why. From the evidence of bullying, okay, we're talking about bullying threats in Nigeria, both educated and uneducated, in order for them to get protection from this dog eats dog Nigeria, a lot of them are now joining or even creating their own cult group. Drug use among the youth in Nigeria has reached is scary state as we speak. Young people are drowning in hard drugs, drug abuse, human rights abuses due to drug abuse. Who are those feeding these young people drugs? Who are those who are using these young people for drug and all that? Well, like I said, it would have been a great discovery and a total prevention, okay, done by the government that is not behind it or not protecting those behind it. When the bullying videos, pictures of Imole, and that is Mohbad, started surfacing, people started pointing fingers. I mean, if somebody sees you in a state that they see that you need support, they support you only to take advantage of you. And when things like that happen in a working system, starting from the family system anyway, which has been destroyed in Nigeria a long time ago, okay? So a support system would have, at that point, when the first video surfaced over a year ago, that he was assaulted, brutalized, and bloodied, a working system would have come to his aid, just like a lot of you who have suffered similar kind of a fate, where young people who are bragging to be cultists, who have been banned, who are speaking in tongues, and so many other jargons that doesn't actually help them. But it is what Nigeria has become. If you gege, you will gege. If you shake you will kinikon. You know what I mean? Like on empty stomachs, on deluded mind. But in that state of mind, there are Nigerians that have been subjected to serious assaults, brutality, and bullying. There are Nigerians that have died, murdered, by these criminals. And a lot of them families whose children have come under these different criminals, atrocities, and have become victims of theirs, right? The families, because they are poor, or they, even if they are not poor, they don't have the right connection to fight them, because their godfathers are those who are ruling the Nigeria, who are ruling the country. Even if they pretended to arrest them, these guys are friends with commissioners of police. They are friends with IG of police. So they are guys that they are like politically, they have been connected that way. Wherever they want to wreak havoc, instead of the police and the authority to come in and then stop it or arrest them, they will leave you to your fate. So people have realized that depends on who you are fighting, or depend on which of them you are running away from. That's what we determine who you will report to. At the end of the day, these guys have grown so notorious that now that the supposedly retired drug dealer, accountant, heroin trafficker is the president of the country. So that simply means most of these guys who are also connected to him, they are untouchable. So people have decided to sort of live with it. There are many of you who are under their current bullying right now, and you are watching me right now, shaking your head. Some of you are looking at me and you are like, this thing that Mayegun is talking, I'm happy for him that he's not in Nigeria. If not, they go don't go share, they go don't go bam, they go don't go show am, they go don't tell am say online, because you do online, you think say you feel talk anyhow. They have a slang. Are you with me? If by any chance you try to talk about these criminals, if by any chance you mention their names, they will tell you online lower, ole sorrow. But abamu ya. These guys are no longer threatening people in private. They actually threaten people in public. They publicly display that they are cultists. They will tell you they are connected to this. They display pictures of of themselves with different artists, so as to let you know that they are known, and those guys know them. So on social media, don't talk anyhow. If you talk anyhow in this country, will just waste you. There's nothing that will happen. For example, you see this issue of Mohbad, he is not going to get any justice. But like I told you, when things like this happen, and they become so public that a lot of you are raging and angry, I want you to know that there are other tens of thousands like Mohbad, but they don't have the same kind of publicity as you have right now, okay? Right? But they are currently going through this. Some of them have died because of this same treatment that they meted there on this young man. It's not because he's going to get any justice. The guys involved, right? Since they were not, because the law will be like, it's going to be like, since they were not caught, actually, like, there's no autopsy that says, oh, when they did this to him, is why that happened to him. There is no evidence that they were physically there when he died or they killed him. So therefore, it's not going to be any justice for him. But there is more. What led to his death is cry for help, and the system that actually ignored him. Like a lot of you always cry for help. Look at the trauma they put you through in the hand of by their own policemen. The one that a lot of you got so frustrated that you did end SARS. You remember? These same people, the same system enabled the bullies that finally killed this young man. So a system that kind of allowed that is a system that you should by no chance support his continuous existence. It's not in your own interest, remember? So out of evidence that came out last year, this young man shared this cryptic message. You know, the story was that Mohbad joined a record label owned by Afeez Fashola Abi Asisi. That is what do you call him again? Why did his name just disappear? Anyway, so Naira Marley, anyway, so owned by Naira Marley rather, yeah. So Naira Marley And they said somehow things started going hurry. There are speculations like, it won't follow them to peddle drugs, okay? And in fact, the whole musical stuff of Naira Marley is just a front that if you actually join his crew, you must be willing to smuggle drug. You must be willing to hawk drugs. All these allegations, okay, means somehow something is shady. And now that this happened to Mohbad, this young man, they started kind of, he's no longer here now anyway, right? So they started saying that, well, he rejected, or he won't swear to an oath, and the rest of other things that in his defense. And in further crucifying Naira Marley and his crew, there are digital evidence. You know what they call the digital footprints. During the time that it was like they were all fighting, he was leaving them, he was going to go on his own, and then Naira Marley and co were like not happy. So there were so many cryptic things that happened in between, whereby they now said, this guy called Sam Larry, that guy beside Sam Larry or Sam Larry, okay? He happened to be a celebrity criminal. He has no real job per se, okay? But however, they are the kind of guys that will tell you, I'm into real estate, or I'm a businessman, I'm into stock. But he's actually a thug for hire. Do you understand? A thug for hire. And at the same time, he is also fingered as the leader of somebody who recruited young people. There was a time, listen to this, there was a time that Lagos State was under the attack, or should I say the epidemic or the pandemic of 1 million boys. So in one of those days, when we were reporting that 1 million boys are attacking people in their homes and all that, all these young boys who are robbing people, and they will rob, and there will be nobody coming, no police, no nothing. They will be in your street for hours, okay? So this is strange. So Portable came out and it was like, this guy, Sam Larry, and then what other guy is name? Abu Ebeli. These are criminal celebrities, oh. They are criminals, they are thugs. But somehow, they packed up to look like all these American gangsters, heavy chains on their neck, right? Then smoking cigar, then displaying all this big party with big expensive drinks in in different clubs. Then you see them with some of the Nigerian artists. They will take pictures with them and all that. So in that way, they became criminal. I mean, apart from being thug for hire. So if anybody kind of, they can obtain you. For example, they can call you and say, hello, Sam Larry, don't be. This is Sam Larry. Zino, where are you? Well, I hear say you did a show in Agege yesterday. Zino, now 5 million. 5 million in my balo. 5 million. Lowo mi logwe. Zino, tiba mu ya. So because it is Sam Larry, nobody is going to save you. You can't call the police. You can't call anybody. So all you have to do is to arrange that money and go and give him. So when you give him, right, then he can just, hey, you are omo me. You be my, hey, omo me, they let you. Zino, yeah, not anybody will try anything with you, call me. Check you here. If anybody try anything, call me. Yeah, anybody. So this is his criminal celebrities. So they are on Instagram, they are on TikTok, and they're always more or less about pictures about parties, cars, women, or themselves, looking at themselves like, all those selfie videos and all that. But they live, life of criminality. So, and then just to further show that they are kind of protected, then you see them with their real godfathers, the people that actually pay well and uses them during elections. Remember I said they are there as political machinery. So when election is not there, they need to spread their tentacles on how to make money, extorting people. They have no real job. You get? No real job. But Baba, because of their political connections, they are traveling everywhere. If you go Dubai, you will see them there. If you go, all those ones are like, they are, like I said, they are like a celebrity criminals. They are not like your usual old criminals where they break bottle for head. You understand? These ones are like, they have access to guns, okay? And they can move all their guns, everything about. Police can't touch them. If police manage to cross them and stop them, one single phone call, they will say they should be going. So in order to put their faces out there like, mommy, name is Sam Larry. If you don't pay Sam Larry now, officer, yeah, mommy. They will be talking to a senior police officer at a road check. They say, yeah, you are telling me to open my boot. Yala, you don't see the plate number. These guys drive government vehicles. I'm talking about vehicles with government plate numbers. That's how privileged they are. But to kind of make it look like they are into anything, remember, into drugs, into money, internet fraud, into anything. So if they know about somebody who is making money from any crime, they want to extort you. Okay? And if they need people to help them smuggle drugs and the rest of that, yeah, they need all these young people. So these guys have, the level at which they have moved drugs into Nigeria, especially in the last 8 years, is scary. It's so bad. The housewives are becoming drug addicts. Something that is almost unheard of. When I was growing up, it's so hard to see any housewife or woman that is a druggie, junkie. But these days, it's free. It's just like that, so cheap everywhere. All right? So they said the Malian group, they were into drug smuggling. They are not just singing about drugs. They are not just singing about the internet fraud, wire, and the rest of that. Those are just for face, okay? Behind the scene, a lot is going on, and they are so connected. So some of these guys later found out that they are not joining record label, music, entertainment stuff. There is more. Do you understand? So if you want to leave, there's going to be more. With all the available evidence, so even when Naira Marley and the rest, all of them, before the death of this young man, they, like I said, they made some of their threats even public and the rest. Okay? And then the young man screamed for help in a country that is not working. He kind of left this cryptic message. He said, if I die today, you killed me. My life is fucked up. I'm saying this in advance. My life is effed up. Ever since the NDLEA, my health is bad. My tummy is effed up. I do complain all the time. I will tell the whole world, where were you when the NDLEA came? You should leave me alone. When you stopped feeling me, why did you F me now? You're pretending. I'm gonna, like I said, cryptic message, right? You will pay for this. Only if there is no God. You put me to shame. You're acting smart. You said you never loved me. But why did you stay in my life for 8 years? Don't worry. And the rest. Anyway, so a cryptic message of what this young man was kind of facing. But before that, before NDLEA, they said, apart from sending these thugs to harass him, among the things they said this Sam Larry, this thug was saying was that he owes him money. And until he pays him, he will never stop harassing him. And the young man is saying he owes him nothing. That it is Naira Marley because he's trying to live their brand. That is why, that he's been harassing him. I'm not talking about harassment of Tibamwe, everywhere with pankere, with cutlass and all of that. But where did the Nigerian police come in? I'll tell you. He was advised to write a petition to the police. Then he wrote the petition to the police telling them exactly what he's been going through and why they are after his life. So the police, you know what the police did? Somebody who told them that he's scared for his life and he know what these guys can do. The day that the police said they are inviting these guys, Naira Marley and the rest of them, they are inviting them over based on his petition. The police also invited him to come and face them and say it to their face. In Nigeria, that act of unprofessionalism, he stayed away. He didn't show up at the police station. Okay? Now, when this Naira Marley and co, when they met with the police, which they are actually friends, there are pictures, there are videos that later show that indeed that guy had, he stood no chance. He had no chance against these guys. No way. It doesn't really matter except if he not that he didn't scream or he didn't call for help, but it was more or less like they were just more. Put it that way. They were just more. So he didn't show up. The people he petitioned, Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and the rest of them that showed up, after discussing for a few minutes, you know what happened next? The Nigeria police, they now wrote an invite, inviting him to show up, or he will be arrested by the police. Guess who they issued an arrest warrant on? Mohbad. The person that wrote that his life was in danger was the one that the Nigeria police issued an arrest warrant on. That if he failed to show up, he's going to be arrested for defamation and blah, 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 blah. So they threatened him and he just bolted. If you continue to see anything about Naira Marley, if you continue to see anything about Kiniko, no investigation, no nothing. All the beatings, everything. He said, oh, you owe me money. But he said, you are beating. He said, don't answer him, Joe. He's a useless boy. We pick him from the gutters. We pick him, I mean, his father. They just want to destroy my name. And in order to be ahead of him, you know what they did? They asked the police to arrest him because he's a drug dealer. He's a drug user. Most of the time he's on drug. They told the police that. And without any investigation, without no nothing, right? The police said he's a danger. So if you continue to say anything about Larry and all of them, he will be arrested. It didn't take long, Baba. NDLEA busted them. Mind you, from what we have later found out, it wasn't just him, right? When the NDLEA came, it was the main target, but there were other members of their label, record label, who were also present when the NDLEA came. Now, when the NDLEA came and they were like picking them, somehow maybe they mistook Zeno. There's one of them called Zeno. Mistook for this Mohbad. Whatever, Sha. He found himself, this same Mohbad, found himself fighting the police for the way they are off-handling his colleague. And he didn't know that he's probably set up. He didn't know until they got to the NDLEA office. When they got to the NDLEA office, NDLEA said they suspect them to be using drug, all of them, and selling drug. So they are going to do drug test for them so that they will know if they are using drug or not. And you know what happened? He said they handed him a liquid substance in a water bottle or in a bottled water, empty bottled water. A liquid substance, and they gave it to him to drink it. They want to know if he's using drug or not. And he was the only person among everybody that the NDLEA raided. And he's the only person who is trying to leave their record label. He's the only person that they have been trying to bully back into their midst. And he kept on going and going. He's the only person they handed that water. And they told him to drink it. After he drank the water, they said all of them could go. There is a video where he said he's not been himself after that. Despite those pains, living through those pains off and on, the system in Nigeria, like, is failing a lot of us, and it has failed a lot of people who are no more today. And they are still going to fail a lot of people, a lot of you, that will kind of make you realize that, no, I mean, this is not right. You can't run a country like this. The system failed him, and the system became accomplice in killing him. That is where all of you should focus on now, right now. NDLEA gave him something. At least he said that on video, on camera, before he gave up. I'll show that. Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba. I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, that one. I have a new come. Any man with drug go. Making mommy. Omi any bottle water lower. Okay. Èmi nìkan mo mú. Kò sẹ́ni tó sọ pé kó mú rẹ̀ o.
Wọ́n nìkan.
Wàláhì tàlẹ́ ògbọ́n Ọlọ́run tó dá mi rí mi ní parọ́. Mo máa ń fọkàn tán yàn lọ fi ṣe báyìí fún mi. Ìgbà tí mo wá dá mu, wọ́n wá ní pé àyèmí o. Gbé mi báyìí o. Ìgbà èmi ò ṣe kọ́kàn náà. Èmi tó láwọn ọmọ lórí. Tó láwọn ọmọ lórí tó yẹ kí mi gbọ́ mo gbọ́ wọn ló gbajà. Mo sẹ́ẹ̀fù sínú nínú fídíò yẹn.
Mo rí gbogbo ẹ̀.
Àwọn sínú náà ní tírí. Wọ́n wá fi wọ́n sílẹ̀. Wọ́n wá ní kékeré mi máa bọ̀ ọ́ lé. Wípé ó ní pé èmi máa bọ̀ ọ́ lé o. Wọ́n ní káwọn yẹn ṣì wà bẹ́ẹ̀. So wọ́n wá tweet wípé Zinoliski too. Bàtà everybody fẹ́ gbé ní lọ́gàn sọ pé Mohbad Zinoliski ni. Ó yẹ kó bá Zinoliski lọ gbé káàkiri. So kí ni ìyẹn wáyé kọ́ gbé kí ni Mohbad Zinoliski tiẹ̀ Zinoliski lọ fẹ́ yìí.
So they said he's high. Oh, he's high on drug. It's because he's high on drug. You know, he's always using drug. If he's always forgetting his... and you know, that young man, I'm not saying that he's using drug or he's not using drug, yo. He happened to be a young man who happened to be a furniture maker. There's a video of his where he said, you cannot be using money. I mean, he could not be using the money he's making from furniture to make music and not put effort in making sure the music is very, very sweet. That's the way he put it. He said, I have to also make some furniture and work very hard. And the money I made from there is what I spend on making my music, and I have to put energy into it. I have to put all my best into it. There was no record of him being a drug abuser. No record. There is no drug abuser that can think straight. Okay? If you want to know the truth. I'm not saying that, there are no creative people who are not drug users, okay? I am telling you that once you become a drug user, that is, you are off your mind. And that is why when people kind of, before they approach stardom, and then they become stars, or they become someone like so kind of a great, in their way of being deceived into fighting depression, fighting this, fighting that, they are introduced to different drugs. So when the whole thing begin to relapse, they begin to lose everything that you know them of. Whether they are musicians, you begin to see them lose everything gradually and gradually. You cannot be a drug abuser and be a creative person. If you are a most talented person, once you begin to abuse drug, once you start taking hold on you, you are gone. So that means he wasn't a drug abuser, or possibly not a drug user, before he started music, before he started thinking about what he wanted to become, putting that into his art, into his craft. whatever he met after meeting these guys, whatever he met or he became after meeting these guys, they made him to be that. So whatever he was fighting, the demon he was fighting was them. And if you could tell them that this is what they did to me at the NDLEA office, I trusted people. They were beating Zeno. And I was defending him and I was trying to fight back. I was fighting the police. He said, and that's when he kind of cried, like, look at me. I trusted people. And that is why they did this to me. And they said, because I'm using drug, that's why, and I'm the only person they gave that water to. And since that time, I've not been myself. And that's why he said, until his death. So people are now asking, who told Instablog to go and say somebody, he had ear infection, There is a way this criminal world works. And since this happened, the reason why I want to let you know that it is bigger because of the people involved. These guys are so connected, that if you drag them, if police do the real investigation and they begin to drag them, you will realize that they will need to arrest governors, they will need to arrest some of your ministers, some of your then they will have to arrest Escobar, their chairman, grand patron. Because listen to this, Mohbad abused, assaulted, and the guys who assaulted and abused him and bullied him until his death, they are known, they are mentioned, and we know who they are affiliated to. So suddenly, the police are now saying, listen to this one, they are like, they want to launch investigation. Naira Marley, who was dancing on Snapchat a day after the death of after the death of this young man, woke up yesterday and just like, I don't know, it was like they've paid them, the media and all that, right? The police said, we are so sad about the death of Kiniko. Commissioner of Police has said that they must be investigated. Then Oba Elegushi, we are so sad for the death of this young man. We advise the public to be careful of what they are saying while the police do their investigation. I'm coming back to that of the police. So, Naira Marley, we are so devastated. We are so sad. After this news, we want the police to do investigation, and we want the public to please to know that they should not do any speculation about his death. Then the police, we are so sad about the death of this young man. The Nigerian police is doing everything to investigate this matter. If anybody with any useful information about this matter should contact us. And we want the general public to be careful of what they say about this, especially on social media. It can't be like saying that the same person type all the messages. But that of the police came with a warning. We are going to be investigating this matter. People have already been mentioned. Have you actually invited them? Have you invited all of the people within that Malian record label, one by one, interrogate each one of them and pick, like police work, real police work, that one where you deceive of movie? Do you not really want that to happen? To clear all of them, so that Naira Marley can clear his name. All of the people mentioned, like, it's true that they were fighting. That doesn't, so that shouldn't make them killers. Do you understand? Police work, where system work, that you say, okay, because they are fighting, that didn't make them, that shouldn't make them killer. But they bullied him with bodily injury and the rest of that. That could have contributed to his death, but an autopsy will prove that, and then the police, through their investigation, can verify those who beat him. Where? That's police work. Nobody so you watch them for American movie. You don't want that to happen in Nigeria. When something like this happens, when police say we are investigating, They will say, who are you? Who do you suspect? They are mentioning this, and that. Okay, we have seen videos of this, and that. Let's invite all of them. You can question them as many times as possible. It doesn't mean that they are under arrest. Now, police come, they ask people, say, if you see any evidence, if you have any evidence, contact us. So now you go police station and say, police officer, my name is Mayegun's Diary Politico. I have evidence of that. These people, they are dangerous people, and they are like